proposition for you. Don't be this guy. Just saying. Because he's saying no. I want you to say yes. I want to introduce to you Hustler Consulting, something I thought about for a while, and actually a concept that I borrowed from Aaron Clary over at Asshole Consulting. Check him out. This is my deal, and there's a catch, but you're going to like the catch. I receive 10 to 30 questions a day, and it would take me good 30 to 40 minutes to answer the questions appropriately. So I said, how can I do this? How can I make this work for everyone? And it hit me. This is what I'm going to do. You can ask any question about any business, whatever you want. Shoot. Just send your question to questions@hustleruniversity.org, and I'll send you an invoice for $50. Now, this is the catch. Since Hustler University YouTube channel is now a donation-supported endeavor, if the video that I produce based on your question produces $50 or more, you get your money back. So if the video makes $50, I'll send you $50 back. I'll do a refund, or I'll just send you some money through Google Wallet. But that's my deal to you. And this is another test to test out the helping principle, because, it ain't about making money. It's about helping people. All right. I'm going to have to do a better job of that. But anywho, what's going on? What's going on? Hold on a second. I am going to do something else here. And all of this is just the, I guess you can call it the beginning of the new paradigm shift. You see, it's still working out the bugs and everything. Let's see. I'm just going to put this here because I like doing stuff in the morning. I get more stuff done in the morning. Good morning, people. Put that there. And, let's see. What's going on with that? It's very interesting. Let's see. Hold on a second. Just making sure that this thing is going off the way that's supposed to go off. I can't really. Hold on a second. I may have to redo this really quickly. Okay, that is not. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Let's see. Can I do this here? All right. That's very interesting because last time I tried to do it that way, it didn't work. Let's see. We should be. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I forgot to take it off private. Private live events. This could be very, very cool. I see a lot of potential with that. Let's see. Okay. Should be good to go. All right. We got the stuff together. All right, let's get into it. Excuse me. This came off from a conversation I was having this weekend, and I'm beginning to feel like I'm an alien from Planet Spankable because I have these radically different viewpoints. And we're just talking about business and stuff. And when I go out in social settings, frequently I don't let people know what I do. I'm just there having a good time. So was just listening to things as they were going on, and I made this statement that I don't look to Jay-Z and Beyonce as business role models. And everybody just kind of looked at me and it's like, they're living large and they're making this money. And to many black people, they are royalty. And I was just like, no, that doesn't work for me. And I said that, and I'm going to share with you why I don't look to them as business role models. First of all, they're amazingly successful. That is undisputable. Will go down in history as cultural icons. That's going to happen. When I looked at, excuse me, I don't know what that stuff is. When I looked at business models, and understand, I've been reading Inc. magazine since I was in high school. So I've always been looking at business models. Now, music is art, and Beyonce and Jay-Z are artists. And that art created them a platform to do other things. But the thing is, with that business model, is more of a, and this could be my own bias creeping in, it's more of a party, hang out, smoke weed, do all this stuff. And there's a air of illicit activities around it because, it's cool. But when you really look at, could you take their business model and go to, Rhonda or Ron, average American, and say, here's the business model, actually lift up the curtain, say, hey, this is how it works. Could they do it? And the answer is no. I mean, first you have to have the ability to sing and dance and rap. Most people can't do that. So that's one reason that's very elementary. The second reason is there's more to this than what we know. There's way more to becoming a dominating artist than just having talent. Matter of fact, if you know the steps or you're plugged in, you don't even have to have talent. It's a marketing machine. It's a manufacturing process. So there's a lot that's going on that's just very hard to do if you don't have the look or you're not plugged in. And that's just with music. Now, I will say, if you are an artist or a rapper or someone and you have the ability to put your art out there, you could come here on YouTube, grow your fan base, SoundCloud, do all of this stuff and put together a strategy where you're making enough money to live well off your art. Now, that's real doable. Now, when you're looking at Jay-Z and Beyonce, 128 million earned in 1 year, okay, there are corporations. There are international corporations that don't make that much money. There are small countries that don't make that much money. So this is a very atypical example of success that some people kind of to bring down as the norm. And it's just really not. It's really not. So you can be successful and you could create a lifestyle, a very good lifestyle around your art. That's very possible. But it's like relationships. When you say the word relationships, people automatically go to the default of a romantic relationship. When relationship is the aspect between two things, people, or anything. It's like there's a relationship between that ditch running alongside the road and the road itself. But, no one talks about that. But essentially, I don't look at celebrities. I don't look at this. That's not true. There's a few people I look at Ryan Seacrest and I look at what he did because he learned from the godfather of actually owning your production company, Dick Clark. I don't know. I'm 47. When I was growing up, there was this show called American Bandstand, Dick Clark. And at the end, it would be DP Productions. I would see that, and years, I just saw that, and I saw it. I didn't understand he owned that show. There's a big difference between holding the mic and getting a check to be on the show versus having your name at the end of the show because you owned it. He owned this show. Johnny Carson owned this show. And Ryan Seacrest got his business education from Dick Clark was one of the first people to do this. And he really created some brands for himself and a lot of money. So he's kind of like a celebrity, but his bigger talent was taking the lessons learned from Dick Clark and creating his own brand, his own business. Now, another artist that we'll look at is Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was the first artist ever to own his masters, and many people think that's the reason he was killed. Because when you own your masters, because going back to the Jay-Z and Beyonce thing, if you go to Cash Money, they own their masters, I believe, before Jay-Z. I think they were first to do that, and that's the reason they don't really have to do anything, and they have all of this money coming in. Because if you go to Sir Mix-a-Lot, he owned Baby Got Back. He owned his masters. He can license that song out over and over and over again. Now, you could take part of those lessons because when I was in healthcare, I had the great pleasure of getting to meet Curtis Mayfield, and he told me about that stuff, about the royalties, the publishing of a song. And he says something. It's like, if you're an artist, always own your work. Own your work, own your work. Don't let anyone tell you it's not worth owning your work. He said 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, someone can say, hey, we want that. And if you own it, they got to come through you. So you have some things you can pull down, but let's just get down to, I don't look at them because I consider them to be atypical quarks in the human condition. I mean, a Jay-Z and a Beyonce, a Prince, a Barbara Streisand, a Donna Summer, Michael Jackson. These are people who are only going to come once in a generation or once in a few generations. There's only going to be literally a handful of people at that level. So if you're looking at that level, I'm not saying that, you may have the natural ability, you may have the talent, you may have the drive to get to that level. But what I'm saying, for most of us mere mortals, that's just not happening. It's just not happening. And I see people like, I want to be like Beyonce. I was like, well, why don't you do something more realistic? Because, you might be a singer, right? But your path to money may be owning the radio station and showcasing other singers. But a lot of people don't really get that. So don't look at that because it's just fantastical. It doesn't make sense. And like I said, there's many parts that we have no idea what's going on. Now, I look at business mentors of people that I know, that I can talk to. I've got a really good friend who's a business mentor. I actually know his net worth. He's worth about $8 million. And the reason I listen to him and the reason I like him is he started off as a sharecropper's son, because I think he's about 68 now. He started with nothing. I mean, nothing. He didn't even graduate high school. So when he tells me something, I listen, because if you understand, now I want you to think about this, for a black guy from that era to create that level of wealth for his family, and he went through a lot of hard stuff. He went through a lot of self-doubt. He went through family issues. We talked about all this stuff. So I'm going to listen to him because his path is very similar to mine. My path I didn't start off as bad as he did, because I think he was one of 12 kids, and he was like toward the tail end. And, at dinner time, if you don't move fast, you don't eat. That's just reality. So I'll listen to him, and I have another mentor. A guy that's local. Used to work with his wife when I worked at Scotch Rite. We don't talk all the time, but he gave me some very important lessons about maybe 12 years ago. He came from nothing. So I go out and I seek out people who came from nothing or very meager beginnings to look at their path, to look at their techniques, and to take lessons from them. Because let's take another hip-hop icon person, Kim Kardashian. Okay. Kim, I don't even know if I'm going to have room in the screen. Because of the default of who her mother married, she started out on the stratosphere, then she went into orbit. She was never, ever down here. Ever. She started off, once again, another person that I think you can learn some lessons from, Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner had to make a decision. Go ahead and be an athlete or, do the endorsement things, he chose the endorsement things. If you do a quick research, it's estimated, because these numbers are not, hardcore, but he's worth $100 million. So Bruce leveraged his athletic ability into endorsements in other companies. So Kim's mother married him, so she was automatically mega wealthy as a teenager. So it's not that hard to go from $1 million to 10, but it is incredibly hard to go from nothing to a freaking 100,000. I mean, if you got $1 million, that's very easy to leverage into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million. And let's say it takes you 10 years. You leverage that 1 million to 3. Then you leverage that 3 million to 9. And then when you get up until year 15, all of a sudden it's like leverage that 10 to 30 and leverage that 30 to 100. That gets way easier because two things. One, it's a lot of freaking money. And two, you only need such a small percentage of that money to live extremely well. If you got a net worth of 30 million, you got your car paid for, your mansion paid for, and I mean, seriously, unless you just have some very extreme spending habits, you're not biting off a lot of that 30 mil. So that money could just stay in action. It can just stay out there making money. It could just stay in the markets. It could stay in real estate. It's just making you money, and you're just biting off a little bit. Now, many people don't really get that concept, because most of us are, W-2 wage earners, and you never get to a point where there's excess where you can actually, what am I going to do with this money? A lot of people don't have that conversation because their money's spoken for as soon as it hits their checking account. It's like, I got to pay rent. I got to pay Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Old Navy, JC Penney's, the power bill, AT&T, Sprint, it's gone. So when you really are looking for business mentors, just for me, I look for people that I can really relate to, who speak plain English, who are, and I don't care about humble. You could be arrogant as hell. That doesn't bother me. It's just, I like people who are real. I like people who will tell you some stuff. Like one of my mentors, he told me about the things that I'm doing, and he asked me, he's like, I already know you're smart. He's like, why aren't you incorporated? And that's like, well, honestly, I don't know which direction this thing's going to go in. And before I start layering up corporations and doing this stuff, I need a firmer grasp of my direction. He said, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, the minute I get that grasp, oh, believe me, it will happen. Because I don't just do stuff to do stuff anymore. I don't do stuff just because I'm supposed to do stuff and all this other stuff. It just creates a lot of different things. Now, part of looking at, different mentors, real life people, it gives you the courage to do something different. Because my real estate guy, he got into commercial real estate. He did well. My other mentor, he actually owned a chain of small stores. Then I know another person, she was actually the owner of an antique store. She just taught me how to negotiate. And these are all people who started pretty much where I was. Now, this isn't to say you can't learn from a billionaire, but you're going to get, in my opinion, once again, this is my opinion, you're going to get better lessons from people who have been where you are, and you can sit down and have a real conversation. That's just my opinion. That's one of the reasons that, the Hustlers University, it's still a little rugged. It's still a little raw, because I was looking at some comments in Hustler University Facebook group, and some people say, well, the reason I actually joined is because he's not sugarcoating anything. Because I'm not going to tell you that you're going to go from nothing to 10,000 in 30 days, 90 days. Some people can, most people can't. But I will tell you that if you dedicate yourself to a process, you pick something, a business or whatever, within a year you could change your life, which is extremely fast. It's extremely fast. And for people, it's like, oh God, man, it's January. It was January when it started, and now it's March, and I still don't have my 30 million. Oh, it must be a scam. It's just this madness. People's expectations are way outside of their abilities. If you just really work hard on, working on your abilities, things get really, really different. Really, really different. And let's see, let me go over here. I got some people in the chat room. Like I said, I don't advertise these things. I just do them because it's early in the morning. Needed to do. Actually, this was on my list, and I thought I would do it because I will get more into the JC story in a minute. But yeah, Ryan Seacrest is a powerful story if you look behind what he's doing, and many people don't do any research. But the whole celebrity hero worship, I don't worship athletes. I admire and appreciate athletes. Like if someone who has amazing ability, I might, but I'm not going to say, okay, because this person's an athlete and the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball is saying, hey, here's a check for $30 million per game. I am not looking at him for any lessons because typically athletes, for the most part, have a genetic advantage that you just cannot. You can't really you can't duplicate that. A guy runs a 4.240. I don't care how hard you go in the gym. There's a limiter on your speed. So I don't look at these people who have competitive advantages, and I'm not mad at them. I'm not jealous. Hey, you run a 4.2. You went to college. You played. You worked out. You got that NFL contract. Hey, I'm happy for you because you are an extremely rare person to make it from Pee Wee League to the NFL. I don't know the exact numbers. I think there's only maybe 1,200 NFL players active at any given time. I'm not sure because I think it's like, if it's that many. So active players, it's not a whole bunch of stuff going on. But when you're picking out your mentors, and I'm going to get a little deeper on the hip hop thing, you have to really learn to discern who's making money and how they're making money, because there are many famous people who are actually broke, or the minute that their TV show or whatever vehicle they were riding, that once that weekly, monthly check, however they get paid, stops, they immediately go to broke because they don't have any assets. Kara Sedgwick and I think Kevin Bacon are making. They didn't do anything bad. They made they lost like I think $26 million with Bernie Madoff, so they got robbed. I'm not going to say they did anything bad, but typically many artists don't want to do the hard work of learning business. It's just like, I want to write, I want to paint, I want to make music. I don't even want to deal with that business stuff. But if you look at Charles Bibbs, you look at let's see, not Otis Redding, but I said his name. It'll come to me. It'll come to his name. But Sam Cooke. You look at these people who were artists, but they were also business people, and it made a huge difference. Because it is so crazy. I got a few people in there. Yeah, Ryan Seacrest story was cool. Hot Halloween props, good morning. And Armageddon Blade Works, good evening from Australia. That's right, we have international reach here in the G-verse. Let's see, let's just shoot this out. But in a minute, I'm going to talk about the fascination with hip hop in this culture. Now, understand, there are people making an amazing amount of money from this stuff, from merchandising, from record sales, amazing amount of money. And if you love that stuff and you appreciate it and that's your thing, that's cool. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't push any of my kids into it because it's such a fickle business. It is just so fickle. It's so crazy, and when being in the storage auction business, I got the units of a lot of A&R reps, a few famous people I'm not going to mention, and I saw their lives like totally naked, going through their records, going through their tax records. A lot of these people don't make the money you think they make. They just don't. Now, if you haven't noticed, I'm brown, and I love this stuff. Like in the summer, it gets even darker, and I get like real chocolatey. Many people like me who look like me and have this brown thing, this wonderful brown thing, are like damn near maniacal worship of hip hop. Because the thing is, it's something created for black people by black people, and in my opinion, because of trying to keep what I call this tribalism. We're going to make this music. No one else is supposed to say it. We're supposed to do it. We're supposed to keep it over here in Brooklyn. Just make this music for the people. Talk about. I think it was just misguided, because if you go back a few generations, Marvin Gaye actually was singing one type of music, and then he just had a social consciousness awakening when he's like, mercy, mercy me. And he did both. He got out that message of what was going on, and they had a business, and he made money, and he reached out to everyone. Let's see. I'm not going to play it because the copyright thing will pop up, but let's see. I'm going to say, when did he write that? Okay. You have to go to Wikipedia. Everything's in there. Okay. He wrote that in 1971. What's going on? And this was a very heavy socially conscious record. And it went, let's see, final record, Hitsville, sold. I'm not getting all of the rankings. It's just showing. But it was a number one in Billboard in 1971. And 1971 wasn't too far removed from actually part of the Vietnam War was still going on from the 60s. So it was a very heavy, socially conscious record that spoke of a message. And see, the thing is, and what I loved about Marvin Gaye, this wasn't just about black people. This was, that record was about people. It was about, civil rights actions, Vietnam, people dying, all these things. It was about people, which is another thing. If you're going to start a business and, if you have a demographic, like you're going to create hair care products for women. Okay, I totally get why you're going there. That's a huge market. But once again, being a member of the Brown tribe, I don't make my products for black people. I've been criticized for that before. It's like, hey, you need to do something for the people. You need to go to the hood. I actually used to date someone that was on my ass about, like, you need to go public speak in these schools. And my belief is that will work to a degree, but I feel that I'm more effective doing what I'm doing. So, because I'm one person, I cannot replicate myself and be in 18 different places. And I don't know if they really going to deal with me going into school saying, I'm about to tell you something. And all these teachers been telling you, like, you go to school and get a degree. They've been lying to you. I don't know if they really want me going to schools talking about that. They've been lying to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're going to get a medical degree, you're going to get a science degree, math, or become a petroleum engineer, you got a shot. But if you're going to get a humanities degree, sociology, something like that, or art, chances are you're going to be saying, hey, how do you want your coffee? You want fries with that? I mean, that's reality. And I don't think they want me going to a school system telling that message, because that's what I would say. Because I've got this thing on my desk, and it's like, it's called an open letter to young people. And I'm still thinking about the concept of what I would say, because I am one of those people, and I will actually, if you're young, I would say don't go to college if you have no clue what the hell you want to do. Don't go. Stay out of debt. Get a job. Do not get married. Do not get pregnant. And take a few years to figure you out if you don't know what to college. Because the thing is, it's not going to hurt you if you don't immediately go to college. It will hurt you if you immediately go to college, don't know what the hell you want to do, and you amass all of this student loan debt. It will hurt you for decades. So just some things to think about, like why I don't look at hip hop and this other stuff and just creating products for people who are really not looking for them. Because, I don't know, if you're a Facebook friend of mine, you'll notice there ain't shit on my Facebook page, and there's a reason for that. I decided to devote my time, effort, and energy into building businesses, creating products, and, walking the walk, preaching, following my own principles. And I've become even more productive since I pulled off Facebook, because Facebook, effing Facebook is for fuckery. And I looked at what goes on, because I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I'm not going to bring it up to them because they're going to take it the wrong way. There's someone I know that was recently laid off. And I extended an offer. It's like, look, I'll give you I'll as a friend, I was like, hey, go ahead. You don't have to pay me. I'll give you access to 30 days to 2,500. Here you go. Did that. Didn't even sign in. Never went through a module. Then I went back and kind of checked up some stuff. All of just kind of like fuckery on Facebook, feel good, happy good, laugh stuff, gags and stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, you don't have a job. I gave you free. And this is why when people are like, hey, if it was free, people, no, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything because I know what it's like to be without a job, and I know what it's like to be financially pressed, and I know what it's like that if you don't take action, how fast things could snowball and just fall apart on you. And I'm not saying anything. I wish him well. I just went ahead and resent the access, and I'm leaving it alone because all these people are like, oh, if you just make it free. No. You must have motivation, and I don't know how you can purchase that or instill that in people. But there are different layers of business mentors and people you should look at. You could probably go into your community, find some retired guy that had a business, and he would drop so much knowledge on you for literally, you can call up and say, hey, Ed's like 68 years old and he's playing with the cat and walking the dog most of the day. Hey, Ed, you want to meet every Tuesday at 12 and I'll buy you coffee or lunch? And they'd be like, sure. Because Ed wants to get out the house and he would love to just tell you all of his business stories and drop all of this knowledge on you. But, many people are looking outside of their true resource tree into someone else's tree. I'm telling you, if you just take time and get to know people and just like, hey, just ask the question, like meet a stranger. Hey, do you have a business? Yeah, go to a middle-aged stranger. It's like, hey, do you have a business? They'll look at you kind of weird. But the guy who has a business and he's like, yeah, I do. And you start talking to him, he's going to like you because you took initiative. He'll like you, unless he's in the middle of summer, he's just a cranky old fuck. But typically, older business guys like to see hustling and enthusiasm and energy. They love that stuff, and they'll help you. They'll help you for little or nothing. You just got to find them, which will require work on your part. So that's all for now. And if you like the content, be sure to hit the little I and donate, because like I said, going forward, this is I'm not putting ads on anything else, and I'm gonna give you the full Monty right now. Hey, this is Glendon Cameron, and I am asking for your money. More on that later. Donate to support Hustlers University YouTube channel, where your real education begins. If you like the content and you're benefiting from the content of Hustlers University, this is what I want you to do. Hit that little I up there. You have to hit the I. You have to be right on point with this. And you can donate anywhere from $1 to $5 up to $500. Hit the I and the screens open up and you can donate to Hustlers University's YouTube channel. And with that, let's get into something juicy. This is Glendon, and I'll see you in the video. Hey, this is Glendon Cameron, and I am asking for your money. More on that later. Donate to support Hustlers University YouTube channel, where your real education begins. If you like the content and you're benefiting from the content of Hustle, that little I up there, you have to hit the I. You have to